Hey, what's up guys? Everything Apple Pro here. Today, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the biggest AirPod clones from some of the biggest smartphone manufacturers. It's actually interesting, the last 6 months, it seems like every other smartphone manufacturer is making their own version of Apple's AirPods, and these aren't just blatant ripoffs. What's interesting is some of them actually have, benefits and positives to Apple's AirPods, and all of these have the new pop-up window, super fast connectivity, great audio quality. It's amazing what's happened in just a couple years. I remember reviewing the first AirPod clones and those were just trash, didn't even compare. Now everyone's got their version of it, and in MKBHD's last video he showed us a bunch of new ones. JBL just released a pair, TCL, there's Realme Buds Air, OnePlus might get into the game, but I wanted to go ahead and check out the Huawei FreeBuds 3, Vivo TWS, and Oppo Enco Free. These are interesting because they're coming from really big brands, and all of these have the pop-up windows for super easy connectivity. So let's see just how they compare. Now these, what's interesting about the Huawei FreeBuds 3 is that they're a combination of Apple's AirPods Pro plus AirPods 2. They do have active noise cancellation. They come in a very interesting circle case, but the packaging isn't anything like the AirPods, which is good, I guess. Here's the casing, so substantially bigger than the Pros. First off, I really like the shape. Strangely, it's like a hockey puck. It's quite satisfying. The snap is pretty close to Apple's here. More reminiscent of AirPods 1. And the Huawei logo is on the back. On the front, really nothing much going on. Actually feels very, very similar in material to the AirPods Pro. USB-C, something I would have liked to see also on the AirPods Pro. LEDs down here. And as you can see, these look suspiciously similar to Apple's. So here's the AirPods Pro and AirPods 2. So this is like a combination of both of them, very similar stem, very similar letter on the stem, and the charging, also very similar. So just like Apple's AirPods Pro and the original AirPods with the pop-up window, the Huawei Mate 30 series and Huawei phones in general have the very same thing, accomplished by the Kirin A1 chip. And apparently the bit rate is higher. They tout that the audio quality is better. Let's put that to the test. So the quick, oh wow, these are quite big, actually significantly bigger than Apple's AirPods Pro. Twice as long of a stem. We got Spotify hacked on here via the illegal Play Store. Let's see what it sounds like. So much like the AirPods Pro, which get software updates, this will as well. Just want to remind you that I am doing a giveaway on the AirPods Pro. So one of those will be drawing winners next week, and enter to win that down below. Okay, so they do make a nice little jingle when they're in your ears. By the way, I don't really like the volume control on the Huawei. It's pretty unreliable. For $200, these sound pretty good. I'd expect them to. The noise cancellation is nowhere near as good as Apple's. These actually seal off your ear canal, but these get loud. They're bassy, they're punchy. Okay, so 170 to 200. They're the Huawei FreeBuds 3 hockey puck. Cool, let's move on to the Oppo Enco Free. So these also have a pop-up window. That's pretty neat. These are also semi-in-ear, and they do have active noise cancellation for calls only, so not for music. They're more of an AirPods 2 clone. The big feature is that they have this touch control on the side that's for switching volume, so you can slide it up and down, which is a feature I wish the AirPods had. Kind of a cool one. And the design is pretty interesting. So it's got this aluminum band up front, and more of a square AirPods box here, USB-C also, and the button on the side. Kind of a cool little design. I like everyone's take and adjustments to Apple's. So that's nice. I don't have an Oppo phone for this to work with, and I highly doubt it would work the same way with a Huawei. These have studio-like audio quality. Apparently the driver inside of them is very advanced. Oppo's very proud of the sound they were able to get out of these. I like the design, it's very bubbly, rounded. It just amazes me that it took 2 to 3 years for people to catch up to Apple's AirPods, but yet here we are, and they are so good. So these are about $100. Let's see how the sound is on these. Oh yeah, definitely not as good as the Huawei's. They're much cheaper. Much quieter, but clean sound, almost no bass. There's no punch to them. But they sound good. You could do a lot worse for $100. I mean, they're way better sounding than the AirPod clones, that's for sure. These are IPX4 water resistant. Let's see if they start playing when you put them back in. Yeah, man, these have come a long way. Just in general, AirPod clones stuns me. Oh, but that's so cool. A swipe up switches the song back, swipe down goes forward. That is cool. It's actually very, very intuitive. I'm surprised. Favorite feature? And I like the finish. It's got this pearly paint job to it. Looks very cool. And a little LED right there. I actually like these. For $100, these are well worth it. I mean, I would still get Apple's AirPods if I could for $150, but this is pretty dang good. Comes close, and USB-C, that's nice. And one of the cool things about these is the latency. They got it down to 120 milliseconds. On the AirPods Pro, it's 144 in an official test. So that's a really big advantage that these have over Apple's AirPods. And every single one of these manufacturers comes at the problem with a different solution. They can all do something different than Apple's AirPods. I like that a lot. And these are IPX4 water resistant, so you don't have to worry about that. But cool. So we got these two, we got hockey puck, we got a little cube. And let's go ahead and take a look at Vivo's copy of Apple's AirPods. So these actually come in a box very similar to the AirPods, just different color, no product on them. But the actual finish, they're very proud of it. And the box has this cool texture. So the finish on these is two-tone. The actual lid, I believe, is made of metal. Oh, so I didn't get the dark ones. I believe it's two different materials, plastic, metal, or vice versa. Wow, so these are very tiny, actually even smaller than Apple's. And the hinge looks very familiar, the button looks very familiar. This is coming from Vivo, and USB-C on the bottom, as you'd expect. And more AirPod-like clones. So these actually look more like the AirPods Pro, and a little bit of a shorter stem. Yeah, very, very similar here. Very similar markings, and obviously not an in-ear solution. But apparently the blue color was inspired by high quality perfume bottles, whatever it says on the website. And the bottom charging ports are interesting. There's 3 of them. Very, very reminiscent of Apple's AirPods. So you can tell that they took inspiration here. The Vivo TWS earphone has a small fuselage weighing only 4.4 grams. What are we, taking these into flight? The way that they describe all the features is so funny, but genuinely these apparently have a lot of good things about them. They're the first AirPod competitors to use Qualcomm's new 5166 chip, which reduces latency, and it has a new two-way transmission, which reduces power usage by 30%. So they're very advanced from inside and out. And actually the design of these, what's interesting is apparently when designing them, they surveyed tens of thousands of ear canals to get the perfect shape. And this is the culmination of all of that research and effort, the ultimate shape for your ears. Apparently Vivo says so. And the sound punches above its weight. They're very proud of it. Apparently this is hi-fi equipped, the first AirPod competitor to use high fidelity sound. And with some very impressive drivers inside. They're kind of hefty. You know, you can tell they've got some serious hardware in here on top. It's very top heavy, but okay, very small, compact. I like that they're very close in size to the AirPods Pro. Ooh, nice little jingle. And these almost sound like they're noise canceling, but I don't believe they are. Oh, wow. Actually very impressed with this sound. So from order of quality so far, just upon this very brief hearing, is Qualcomm's, obviously they're the most expensive, Vivo second most expensive, so $200, $130, and then $100. These are quite punchy. Wow, I would go so far as to say they sound better than Apple's AirPods too. Like, very impressive sound, very loud, very punchy. Sound definitely checks out. I like the design, you know. Not like I'm being paid by any of these companies. I just thought it was interesting that everyone is going out there to make their own version of Apple AirPods, and I'm impressed. You know, there was really not much bad I could say about any of these actually. They work very well, best with their native phones. All of them have the very simple pairing process, the pop-up windows. So you can tell that they took AirPods, reverse engineered them best they could. All the hinges pretty much look the same, just like they want to be AirPods so bad. And they're doing a very good job at it. The fact that these exist make AirPods possibly less special, but the fact that they came out first means everything to me. These are still technically the infiltrators, the ones that came after, but still they're very good. And I like Huawei's take on it. I mean, that's funny to me. But overall, there it is. Those are 3 of many. There are so many new ones coming out in the next few months. Pixel's releasing theirs. OnePlus should be coming out with theirs soon. And it doesn't end there. We're gonna see so many more coming out in 2020 because the industry itself is so big and only growing bigger. And no matter which ones you choose, they'll probably be worth the money. Although, of course, at the end of the day, as an Apple user, I'll still stick with my AirPods Pro. Just cool to see what everyone else is doing. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Again, we're giving away one last AirPods Pro, and if you want to win that, down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Peace.